Hi, it's George Nordhaus, and here is the second in a series of three, what I think are the basics of what marketing is going to be all about in the years to come, and it's really, really neat. I like it. We did the Planning Your Digital Presence introduction, the first one, and now we're going to go to another one. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to see it in just a minute. We have three presenters. I heard all these three presenters at the New Mexico Big Eye Association. They did a fantastic job. I participated with the people in the room, and I learned a heck of a lot. And I also learned that they were great presenters. So what we have is Marty Agather there to the left. He was an IT guy, and he's really helped us incidentally a lot as we developed this. He's CPCU, ARM, designations. He worked for a mid-sized independent agency in Chicago. And then he became a senior manager at Applied. He worked for other insurance-related technology organizations. He's now vice president of sales for Project CAP in Minneapolis. And he's got a lot of digital marketing knowledge he's going to share with us, and that's terrific. In the middle there is Marit Peters. She's a unique person. I don't know of anybody like her in any of the other state associations. Her background is so interesting. She's what's called the Chief Strategy Officer of the association. She's led teams in developing strategic business plans and provided guidance for setting, achieving goals. She consults with people here. She was here in New Mexico, or maybe elsewhere. She's had positive changes that really affect a lot of agencies, and she's big on digital marketing planning, specifically ways for agents to realistically tackle this tremendous bunch of problems that we have. And she's been in aviation manufacturing, IT, healthcare, amazing background. And Jason Cass is an independent agent. He's been an agent since 2002, but he was a producer. Now he runs his own business. It's a small business. It's a virtual business, really. It's one of the few virtual businesses that's very effective and profitable. He's in Centralia, Illinois, a small town in Illinois. He admits he's an insurance geek, insurance marketing. He makes speeches. He was Illinois Young Agent of the Year in 2005. He was just finished as chair of the National Young Agents Committee of IIABA. How do you like that for a virtual agent? It's an amazing story. At any rate, I'm so happy to have them because I think they're three of the best presenters I've ever heard, and the subject is essential. So with that, Marit, lead us on. Marit?
Great. Thank you, George, for that introduction. So can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so thank you for that introduction. And we are in session 2 of 3. Last week we really focused on creating and thinking about what your brand is, both as an independent agent and for yourself personally. And really planning is a critical part of actually going and doing something. So now we're starting to get into the do part. And as I mentioned last time, we do have a workbook that we are walking through. We're going to be starting on page 6 today of that workbook. If you have not downloaded that from the link invite, you may email me. My email is Marit, M-A-R-I-T, at iianm.org, and I'd be happy to send you a copy of that. But as we mentioned last time, this is about the work that happens after the session. It's not what we're going to cover specifically here, but taking it back to your staff, getting them engaged, taking notes, having your aha moments that you have, and then going and actually doing something with that. So with that being said, we're going to talk about getting real today, and I'm going to pass it off to Jason.
All right, thank you very much to all the listeners and viewers out there. Hope you're having a great day. This is going to be a little bit of an action-packed session here where we talk about being real, because really that's what it all is about. Now I know we're talking about virtual things, we're talking about digital marketing, but in the world we live today where people spend their time and what they use to value your agency, it's being real. So what we're going to talk about today is going to have to do so much with the being real of professional website. Then we're also going to follow up, Marty's going to follow up with the search engines, because you can have the best website in the world, but if it's not being found, it's pretty pointless. And then we're going to follow up with social networking. That should be actually session 3 is what we'll be doing. But let's go ahead and talk about our website, and let's talk about your website, I should say. Some of these things, you're going to see some quotations, some bubbles popping up here, and these are the things that we just want you to realize that you may not think it, but this is what the consumer is thinking when they're going to your website, okay? They're wanting to know some things of, is a credible site, am I in the right place, does this site answer my questions, does this site reflect what my experience will be, what can I expect? I think sometimes out there, you know, it's not our fault as agents that we don't understand websites. We understand policy forms. Sometimes we can read them perfectly. They're like the King James Version of the Bible. But what this is this is a very important aspect that your customer is going to need to know and find first before you're able to actually get them in front of you to make them, to help them with their solution or their need that they have, you providing them the solution. So what's very important is your website. You may have heard me say it last week, and I'll say it again this week. If you don't have a website out there to the consumer, you're not a real business. I know that sounds crazy, but according to a new study, this isn't actually new, it's about 6 months old, but they said that about 60 to 65% of independent insurance agents have a website, but yet over 70% of those that do have had static websites that have never been changed since the first day they were put up. Believe me, the consumer realizes that, okay? No more can we just go to a site and people, I don't know about you, but just think of the sites you've been to in your life. And you go to them and you look at it and your first thought is, ugh. You know, your first thought is, oh my gosh, you know. You can tell that it's old. You can tell that it's a template. So yes, it's important to have a website, but it's also important to be answering these questions right here. Okay, very, very important. And I'll give you a couple little tidbits before we go forward. You know, a lot of times what we do with our websites, and these are just little tips here, so I'm not charging you for this, it has to do with calls to action. Okay, we need to have calls of action on our website. Now, with that said, you're wanting someone to do something. That's what we mean by call of action. You're wanting them to do something when they come to the website. One of the things we see a lot, and my partner Ryan Hanley, who is a website specialist, always tells me, we try to do too much on our websites. I will tell you the number one thing. I'm going to ask you a question. What's probably the number one thing someone comes to your website for? Now just think about that for a second. If someone comes to your agency's website, what are they wanting? A lot of you are thinking, well, they want to know my information. They want to know if we sell autos or homes or boats. No, wrong. What they want to know is they want to know what your phone number is. And of all of the research that's been done, they want to know how they can get a hold of you. They either want to know where your phone number is or your email address, or your web address, your location address or your email. They want to have contact information. That's one of the reasons why Google tells you whenever you have a lot of different sites or a lot of different social sites, or you register at other websites, you register your insurance agency, want to use the same type of stuff. So I won't get off there. You want to use the same type of information, same phone number, all listed the same way. That's just a little freebie. Won't charge you for that one. But I want you to keep in mind, don't talk about what you do, okay? Professional websites don't necessarily talk about what they do. What the people do is it gives them a general sense of who you are, tells them about your agency. I'll tell you another little thing I saw pretty interesting of an agent. When instead of having an About Us page, it doesn't have an About Us page. What he has is an About You page. So really, when the customer goes there, they want to know what that agency is going to do for them. The client doesn't necessarily care about what they can do for what that agency is about. It's what that agency can do for them. So keep that in mind. So when you're talking about auto insurance, when you're talking about home insurance, don't elaborate about that on your website. Very few people look at that. Deliver that through your blogs with new content. Creating blogs and creating new content through your website, Google loves new content. That's one of the ways that you can get elevated higher in the search rankings. Marty's going to talk a little bit more about that. So one thing I can say is, if there's one thing that you can do to your website to take home now, and it will answer a lot of these questions right here, because some of these questions that you see in the pop-up bubbles may not be answered directly by what your website says, but if they have a way to contact you, they can call you directly. So Marty, if you would, let's go ahead and flip to the next one. Website evaluation, okay? I want you to notice that you have this checklist that we're looking at here. You have this in detail inside of your workbook on page 8, okay? And I encourage you to do that, because I got to tell you, I'm really not a workbook guy. Okay, I'm not someone who's going to get out a workbook and actually, start writing notes and stuff. That's probably a weakness of mine. But I have to tell you, I have this workbook sitting in front of me, and even as I've listened to this, even though I did this last month, this presentation, I've even started to make little notes to myself, and I got to tell you, I think it's very, very effective. So please, please do use the workbook. And as you go through this, these are things that I want you to think about. Okay, is the information easy to verify? That is such a very key point. I mean, a lot of times you feel as if you go to a website, and yes, you know that they do insurance, but what is it that you exactly do? Well, once again, we talked about a little bit some a minute ago. But make sure that you have your contact information out there. Very, very, I'm telling you, it's the #1 thing people want is contact information. Is it easy to navigate? I mean, do you just have calls of action everywhere? Is everything in kind of a nice order? Think about that. Think, once again, of the websites you go to normally. What are the things you like and what are the things that you don't like? Odds are you're thinking like the general average consumer out there. So when you go through these checklists, really look at this and really think about it. And I will tell you one that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I will tell you, when you get a website developer, I know a lot of people try to create their own websites, but anymore websites are being so well done, they can tell when you're creating your own. Look at the one down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reflects your brand. Once again, this goes back to last week's session. You need to ask your client, your staff, who your brand is. And then you need to bring that out through your actual website. I see a lot of websites out there that use stock photos. Take the stock photos and throw them out the window. Use real photos of your community, of your staff, of you, of the things you guys like to do. Use things that are going to talk about your brand, because your brand is something that people connect with. Marit did a very fantastic job of talking about that last week. So if you didn't catch it, be sure to listen to George's Monday morning from last week. So there's different kinds of things, but I want you to use this checklist. Very, very powerful checklist. So let's go to the next one here. Here's something that I really like here. This is called Scorecardio. There's a couple of these out there. WebsiteGrader.com is another one. And they all do their own thing, but what they're trying to help you do is they're trying to help you evaluate your website. Very, very important thing. So what you can do here is you can go to Scorecard.io, or I think it's even Scorecard.com, and you're going to list your email address, or I'm sorry, your website address right inside of here, and you're going to put in, so I would have put in like jdcins.com, and then I would have hit Score Me. And when you hit Score Me, this little thing up here pops up. It's actually bigger than that, but we're trying to just give you a visual. And what it does is it calculates your score. So it goes to your website, it analyzes your website, looks through all your pages, reads your wording, see how your headers are. It's all kind of detailed stuff that it uses in the back end of this. And then what it does, it brings that information forward so that you can then get a snapshot of all that detailed information. The categories they use, once again, everybody uses different ones. So I'll just tell you a little personal thing. I went to Website Grader, and out of 100 points, I got a score of, I think, 87. I came over here on Scorecard.io, and it gave me a D one time, and then it gave me a C- the next time. So, yeah, it was a little personal to me. I mean, I tell you, as big a geek as I am in this, I cried a little bit, but I got over it. So the visibility is very, very important here. What it's basically saying is it's going to give you an A, B, C, D, or F grade, just like in school, on what your visibility is. How visible are you out there? If someone types in JDC Insurance Group, how many different sites out there are talking about it? How far are we spread? Are we listed on yellowpages.com, whitepages.com? Are we listed on Foursquare? Are we listed on all these different types of directory services out there? Because keep in mind, you may not think that that's important, but that is very important. You want to be registered with Yahoo, with Google, with Bing. You want to be registered with them all. Your agency does. Keep in mind, when you do this, you want the information to be the same from site to site. It's got to be the same, because it's just a computer reading it, and anything that's different, it may differentiate you between two different organizations. Your reputation. What is your reputation out there? Okay? Your reputation is Here's how Google grades your site. Google grades it in two ways. What do you say your website's about? And that holds some weight. But the greatest weight that Google's going to grade your website is what does everybody else say your website's about. So that's where we go to reputation, and that's why it's important. You want to get your local Chamber of Commerce to link to your website. You want to get your local Rotary to link to your website. You want to get any business possible, well, pending that they have a great reputation as well, to link to your website. Because what that shows Google is hey, this agency's website must be an authority, must have a great reputation out there for everybody else to be recommending their readers to access it as a resource. So that's your reputation. What's your trust out there? Trust is about the same thing as reputation. It's just a little bit twisted. I probably went in too deep on this already, but the trust has to do with, now that I have given the reputation, now that we found you, now that we've been sent there, how trustworthy is it? Is the information you have on there valid to what that person's looking for? So it's not so much a trust that you're lying to me. It's that when we use that reputation to go there, does it have the information we need? This is where the power of blogs come in. Blogs are essential, and they're going to be needed in the future. So please understand that. I apologize, I kind of skipped ahead. They're going to take all those scores, and they're going to average them together to give you a website score. This is a very, very useful tool, And we're not promoting this or sponsoring this. What we're just saying is this is one of the tools. WebsiteGrader.com is another one. You can do the same thing, and it'll give you a report as well. So go ahead and march on here. So what I can just basically say is that I've talked to you a little bit about a professional website. We could go on for 3 hours about a professional website, but we just wanted to give you some things to use. And be sure to use the checklist, once again, on page 8 inside your workbook. Make some notes. You sit down with your staff. Go over some of those things. Don't put the burden just upon yourself. As George says, everybody should be listening to this into your office, because this is a culture thing that's going to help you develop these the best way possible. And now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about number 2, which is be found by search engines. And I'm just going to tell you, this is another beauty that George is bringing you. Marty Agather is probably one of the best in the business when it comes to helping you analyze and get your website ready, and for the key factors that you need to look for to have a great website. So Marty, please help them out.
Thank you very much, Jason. And as you just indicated, we could talk on any of these topics for days, and unfortunately we don't have that amount of time here. So we're going to run at a very high level. But I want to take you to probably one of the most critical pieces of information that you can take away from this meeting today. These are what we call organic or natural search results, and on any Google page there are 10 results that come back. And what I'd like to direct your attention to the 2 columns on the left, which essentially tell you the number, the percentage of the people who view this page who click on that specific ranked entry, and the amount of time that they spend looking at that specific entry. If there is one thing for you to take away, you need to get to the top of page 1. Ideally, you should get into the top 3 spots. Anything below spot number 3 gets less than 10% of the clicks on the organic listings on the page. What you can see is you get to the middle, you get to that sort of medium shade of blue, and you're getting actually 1/3%. You go up a little bit as you move further down the page, because naturally our eyes, we spend a good amount of time, as shown by the time that's spent on those entries, and then we flick to the bottom of the page. You need to get to the top of page 1. Now, what Google is doing is Google is now providing rich content in terms of different ways to look at this. At the very top, you can see there, these are just website listings, but we could also look at videos, we could look at news, we can look at blog posts now. So all of a sudden, when you do a search, you have a bunch of different ways the consumer can find your agency. And that's why this is so critical. Marit, do you want to tell us a little bit about a way to get your agency to be found?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. And I think that that slide that Marty just showed us, you could probably apply that logic to any search site. And we're going to talk about different places to be found. But if you're not rolling up to the very top, and you as consumers probably know this, you probably don't go down to the 4th and 5th listing unless you don't find what you need within the top 3. So take that, be thinking about that as a consumer yourself, and we often forget to be thinking like consumers. We're thinking about us in our own self and in our own agency. So one of the things that we're involved in, and this is for those who are members of the Big I, and I'm sure many of you have heard of it, and if you haven't and you're not members of the national or a state association, I think it's important for you to understand that there's now a new site. It's called trustedchoice.com, and on page 9 of your workbook there's actually a picture of that website now. And it is becoming a one-stop shop for consumers to get insurance quotes from multiple insurance companies all in one stop. So it's just launched in June. Project CAP has been working on this for a long time. Agencies are now able to create profiles and set yourself up in there. So when consumers go in and click Get a Quote, they can actually find local agencies. Now there are a couple, this is what it looks like here, there are a couple states that are already set up so that you can actually get rates and then find a local agent that's writing for that carrier. Many of the states, however, are still just in a finding a local agent. So you need to be thinking about this when we talk about the power of we. This is one way that we, as an independent agency system, can combat the $2.2 billion of marketing dollars that are out there going on with captives. So as anything, the more people that are on this, the better tool it is, the more consumers will go, and it is featuring obviously the Trusted Choice agents. So if you're interested in this, you can certainly reach out to Marty, reach out to your local association and find out how to be engaged. But if we are here, hopefully as we build it, people will come. And that's what we're talking about in regards to Project CAP. The other thing, and Jason talked about this briefly a few moments ago, is the site Getlistedorg. And again, this is in your workbook, and I encourage that you go there and you look at where you are listed and what you need to do. So if you click again here, Marty, there's another tab that you can look at that says To Do, and it'll actually tell you what you need to go do to start to improve the alignment and the listings that are out there to make sure that you're listed exactly the same way. I saw a great chart the other day that was showing visually, and I'm a very visual person, where all the data comes from to different search sites. And if it doesn't match exactly, then it thinks it's two different things, and your ratings and your ability to be found increase it. It is an abyss. It is difficult, but this is a great tool to be looking at. Again, like Jason said, it's not that we endorse any of this, but we found that it's a great tool for folks to use. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Marty to talk about us.
Sure, and what you can see on this to-do list is the #1 listing that they are showing there is your Google Plus business listing. Now, Google has not helped us because Google has renamed this service about 27 times. It's now called Google Plus Business. It used to be Google Plus, then it was Google Plus Local. Some of you might know it as the Maps listing. The easiest way I can describe it is it's that kind of pinkish salmon colored, if you can see my arrow right here. When you get a map, you do a research for Thai food, and all of a sudden the map comes up and there's some push pins in there that show you where. That's what Google Plus Business is. And chances are very good that every one of your agencies has already been set up with a Google Plus Business account. That being said, odds are also very good that your agency hasn't claimed it yet. And to claim it, you actually would do a search for your business name in Google, click the Maps button, and your listing should show. You can then click on that listing, and there's a button that says, is this your business? Claim it. And you can do that, and it's a process that'll take about a week to a week and a half. Google sends you a physical postcard to your physical address because they want to prove that you're actually the business that you say you are, and they send you a passcode, and you can type that in, and then that says that you're registered, and now you can make changes to your account. Okay, so the whole idea is you want to claim that Google Plus business listing as yours, and then begin to move yourself up. Now this is what we call the 7-pack. So what Google is doing is Google has identified the fact that many searches that we do have local intent. So if I'm looking for that Thai restaurant that I mentioned earlier, the very best and most rich Thai restaurant website might be in Bangkok. But Google figures that my intent is that I'm looking to get dinner tonight. So they're going to present me with listings that make sense to that request. Google is trying now to answer more and more questions and understand the intent of the searcher. So what they do is, if there are local results, i.e. Google Plus business listings that are local to the searcher, right? They know who you are and where you are because you've got an IP address that says you're in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or you're using your mobile device, and we have a GPS embedded in it, which actually even tells us to the nearest, probably 50 feet where you are. They're going to pull up a listing if there are local businesses that match your search intent. They sometimes open a 3-pack, which means that there are 3 results listed. This that we're looking at is a 7-pack. So what you can see is we've got 7 different agencies listed for insurance in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The question is, how do you move yourself up in the local listings? And there are 4 major factors that drive how your local Google Plus business is seen. Number 1 is your actual page. The things that are on your page. Have you added photos? Have you given yourself a new banner? All right. Have you created a description for your business that uses some of the keywords that talk about what you do, that are answering the questions that that consumer is typing? Auto insurance, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay. Jason talked in our Scorecard.io section about off-page and off-site listings. What votes do other people and businesses give your agency? Are they saying that you are a good resource? All right. The third factor is reviews. We all have satisfied customers. In the past, a satisfied customer would send you a letter, and you'd proudly tack it, or you'd probably frame it and tack it up on the wall in the agency. Hey, look at what Bill Smith said about what we did for Bill. You need now to move that to the digital world and move that to where other people can see it. So you need to create processes that say, hey, would you review me with your Google account and post that on my Google Plus business page? Okay? And then finally, as Jason spent some time talking to us, your website. How effective is your website? Does it match the business intent of your Google Plus business page? Now, here is an example, very briefly, of a page that's been set up to begin to show the values. So what we have is we have a custom banner. We have some images that represent the kind of insurance that they want to write. So the whole idea now is that Google Plus business page is designed to create a presence, and it's an easy presence to get to page 1. Jason, why don't you tell everybody what we're going to be doing next week?
Hey, Jason. Hello.
I apologize about that. I apologize. I mute my thing so it doesn't become a distraction. I forgot to hit it. Sorry about that to the listeners. And it was funny because I was just talking away over here. Hey, I just want to just say I think Marit and Marty, you guys did a fantastic job. I think next week you're really going to like what we have next week because we're going to be talking about number 3 there, which is be engaged social networking. This is what I do. This is how I run my agency. This is how I market in my agency. I don't run ads in the newspaper, the radio, or anywhere else. I just do my marketing on social networking, and it seems to be working. So join us next week as we take what we've learned by our reputation and who we are and our avatar and who we are and our value proposition, bringing that into our website, trying to be found online, and now it's actually communicating with the people and driving them back to our website so that they then can find our number, pick up the phone, call us, do business with us, and then we're able to help another client. So until then, George, thanks for your time, and look forward to talking to you guys next week.
Well, once again, thanks to the 3 of you. You've done another wonderful job. Once again, to get people in your agency, just get as many, take everybody you can get, and get them on this thing so they can see it. Don't forget to write to Marit, and you just MARIT@IIANM.org if you haven't got a this workbook. And of course, the workbook is really a beautiful thing. It's planning your digital presence, and it's something you got to have. And don't forget to go back to if you did get the email, we have links on there as usual. Errors and omissions, tip of the week, the quiz flash from Insurance Community Center. Go back in there and click on those, or go to Rough Notes there if you want to see the archive. You'll see this and a lot more. So guys, thanks a lot. Next week we'll finish it, and I think we're doing something that will go down forever as being one of the most important and things we can ever do for any independent insurance agent. Thanks again.